Welcome, riding buddies. Mountain Man Motocross has been run and won for 2023. And what an event it was. The Toowoomba Motocross Club was very busy over the off-season working on the venue. New start gates and many small changes to the track made what was already a flowing track even better. Before we get too excited, make sure you have subscribed to John's Motorcycle Mania. It's a proven fact that subscribing helps you brake harder into the hairpin at the bottom of Skyline on the Echo Valley circuit. Saturday's track wasn't very deep and not overly watered, making for a fun track for the sidecars, vets, women, mini lights, quads, and side-by-sides. Yes, side-by-sides. This was the very first year these machines had been at Mountain Man, and what a spectacle it was. Even though it was an exhibition class, things did get a bit serious out on the track. The women had their own race with 13 females ready to take on the Mountain Man Queens class. A great battle between Hayley Miller, who ended up with the third place, and Talia Drew taking second, kept the crowd on their feet. None of the girls could contain Charlie Cannon though, taking first and getting a $2,000 payout for her efforts. The vintage classes had two categories running together: the pre-1990 class and 1990 to 2003. Brad Vanbarello taking out the pre-1990 class, and ironically enough, being on the oldest bike in the vintage field, he also took the overall on his beautiful 1981 490 Mako. The mini lights, 12 to 15 year olds, all the big wheel 85s as I like to call them, was a battle to the last race. Lachlan Allen and Lachlan Grant were on equal points coming into the final moto. But when they hit the checker flag, it was Allen in third and Grant got the upper hand for second. Max Stevenson got himself the win with 3 moto wins. Sidecars have been a spectacle at Mountain Man for years. These riders are always a crowd pleaser. This year was no different. The major standout this year was the pairing of Hayley Miller and Georgia Say. These two girls are racing each other in the women's class, then creating a team for the sidecars. Their first ride on a sidecar was practice on Saturday morning. Talk about diving in the deep end. But at the end of the day, they came away with a 4th place in a field of 6 outfits. Quads are nothing new at Mountain Man, but it's been a long time since we've seen them attack the mountain. This year, there was senior quads and junior quads doing an exhibition. Yeah, sure. With past and current national champions on the track, they didn't look to be doing too much exhibiting. What was very new for Echo Valley and Mountain Man was the side-by-sides. These guys were awesome to watch on a motocross track. Not much room for what is essentially a car. Man, they move some dirt. That brought what is essentially the casual, fun day to a close. Sunday, things get a bit more full on. The Junior Mountain Man has been a hard-fought class for a very long time, and so many top-level riders have competed in the Junior Lights over this time. This year, we saw Jake Cannon stamp his name in the history books. His lap times were around 5 seconds off the fastest Mountain Man time. This is a junior on a 250. Going to be interesting when he goes senior next year. William Robertson did more than enough to take second, with Fred Taylor taking third. A field of two-strokes always takes me back to the good old days, and it was a sight to behold seeing the lingering smoke haze over the start gates again. After all the screaming, clutch fanning and tap dancing on the gear lever was over, local hero Caleb Burham was the new Michael Williams 125 Cup winner. He also wrung the neck of his 125 to take the overall win in the two-stroke class against 250s and 300s. I'm sure there was a spot at the bottom of the mountain he actually backed off, or he was on part of the track where I couldn't hear him. One final class to cover, the main event, Mountain Man. 51 riders were entered for Mountain Man across Clubman, Expert and Pro. Of course, there had to be some qualifying to be in the final 40 riders to take the gates for the main event. First race was a 30 minutes plus one lap. 30-minute motos are tough, but the heat on Sunday made it even more excruciating. Dean Ferris took out Moto 1 with a hard-fought battle with Kirk Gibbs, who eventually took second. After a bit of turmoil, Aaron Tanti found himself in third. Motos 2, 3 and 4 are back-to-backs. How this works is the riders do a 10-minute sprint. They have 5 minutes from the time the last rider crosses the line to get themselves ready for Moto 2. Gates drop again for another 10-minute dash. Then again, it's 5 minutes from the last rider crossing the finish line to the drop of the gates for the final time. As if the 30-minute moto wasn't exciting enough, with battles all the way, the back-to-back races were insane. Aaron Tanti didn't have the ride he was hoping for. After incidents in every race, including getting caught in the gates in one moto, he ended up third. He had some very impressive rides coming back through the field, but it was a tough day at the office for the current Pro MX champion. Kirk Gibbs had his hands full, but eventually finished up second. At the end of the weekend, Dean Ferris is the king for the second time in his career. The end results don't actually show how hard it was for Ferris. Battles with Tanti and Gibbs was only part of it. Reese Budd was throwing everything into his ride. Robbie Marshall was very impressive with some awesome starts to keep everyone on their toes. Luke Zielinski showed he's in contention for the upcoming season. Jai Walker is always a dark horse. If he can get a good start, he's a real threat to everyone.
Mr. Mountain Man for 2023, so how did Mountain Man pay out for you?
Yeah, it was a really good day for me. I hoped I'd win a moto or two, but I ended up clean sweeping, won the 30, won all the back-to-backs, and it was a really good hit out for the first time back on a Yamaha since I was on a Yamaha in 2018. So good day out. I'm a two-time Mountain Man champ now, so pretty happy about it.
Another impressive ride I want to mention is Charlie Cannon. This young girl finished 14th outright on a 250. Watch out, Europe.
Charlie, so you have just got 14th outright in Mountain Man against the best riders in the country. We've been looking at some of the records, and I think you've just set a new record, the highest placed female ever in Mountain Man.
Well, that's pretty cool to hear. Yeah, I'm really happy with how today went, considering we were in with the MX1 pros as well. I'm really happy to take 14th outright. The boys really pushed me along. It wasn't easy, but yeah, I really enjoyed it.
That brought another very successful Mountain Man to an end. After 48 years, this event still brings out the best in all riders. Everyone wants to win their respective class at Mountain Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. and I'll catch you next time.